Hi all, Renee here. I am here today to show you what I made from the paper pumpkin from December 2025, Watercolor and Bloom. This was a beautiful kit. I really loved working with it. And I have been going through all of my supplies, getting ready for a big craft thrift sale that I'm doing next weekend. And so it's reminded me of some old products that I've had for many years and some that I decided to keep. So you will see quite a few old things from my stash being used in this kit. And it made me really happy to use all those old things. So without further ado, here are the 9 cards, almost exactly as they were intended. I did change the sentiments on every one of them to birthday because I need a lot of birthday cards this year. So let me show you real quick. And one other thing that I did differently this time is I did not take the envelopes apart. They do have this really cute floral on the bottom, but I decided just to use them as envelopes this time. I know it goes against all my thoughts and feelings, but I don't know. It just felt right to leave the envelopes alone. So we will put them aside unharmed. The stamp that I used for the sentiments for these 2 sets of cards was from the Unbounded Love. I think this has since retired. Great sentiment set though, and it has a lot of great dies. I did not use the dies this time, but I did use this happy birthday sentiment on quite a few of the cards, so I will point that out when I get to them. Then this sentiment right here, I have no idea what sentiment I used. I looked through all my stamps. I can't find it. So there's that. This is the stamp set that came with the kit, and I did use that a little bit. So let me show you. This is the first set of 3 cards. They're all exactly the same. And I did use the stamp set for this background. These 3 little sprigs are stamped with this stamp set. So I did 3 of those. And then why don't I show you the cards that I made from these backgrounds? Because what I did was I cut, because they come as card bases printed all the way across, and I cut them in half and then glued the halves down on just plain white card bases. So this is what I did with the 3 backgrounds that were left from when I cut these in half. Now for these backgrounds, I used a lot of stuff. So let me kind of show you what I've done here. So for this one, I used this old die from Close to My Heart. I have used this many times. So if you've watched me for any amount of time, you've seen this one before. But I did 2 cards from one background. So what I did was I cut it like this, and then I also cut it out of a Night of Navy cardstock. And then I just flipped them. So you can see that they're just, I used all the pieces from what was cut. So that was that. And then this happy birthday was from that Unbounded Love stamp set. These flowers were from, let's see, which stamp set? This one right here, which is an old Close to My Heart. Say It With Flowers. It was a stamp of the month from February 2024. And I used these flowers right here. Colored them just with some Spectrum Noir alcohol markers, and the little gold centers, I don't know if you'll be able to see them sparkle, but that was the gold glitter gel from the Advent calendar from this last year. So loved using that gold glitter gel. That was fun. So I made those 2. Then I made 2 more from another background. I used this old die. I cannot tell you who this die is made by. I think I got it on Simon Says Stamp decades ago, so you may still find it. It's a great die because I think it's just very, very useful. And so I made 2 cards with that. This particular sentiment, Birthday Wishes, what did I do with that stamp set? There it is. The Birthday Wishes that's used on this is the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar stamp set that came with the Advent Calendar, which is still available. It's in the last section, so if you're interested in it, you'll need to pick it up there. So there's that stamp set that I used for these 2 sentiments. Then these little bows were from this stamp set, which is also from Close to My Heart. Really fun stamp set. And I can't believe I'd never used it. So I inked it up and used it. So there's the little bow there. And that's what I did with these 2. Now I did mess this one up, so I'm going to have to try to fix that before I send it off. but I think they turned out really, really cute. And then the last one, I had a failure, and I decided to use it anyway. So I used this die, which I haven't really used much, and because of that, I forgot that it needs a shim because it didn't cut all the way through. So on the background of this card, I'm not sure if the camera's even going to pick it up. It really, all it did was emboss this design onto the back, but it did cut all the edges. So what I did, since it was now a smaller piece, is I used part of the piece that was cut off, put that on the bottom as though it was like a kind of a tabletop. And then I used this stamp set right here. I used the basket from this stamp set, and then I used the flowers from this stamp set and set them in the basket. Used my Spectrum Noir alcohol markers to color them. I used some more of that glitter gel. This is a piece of vellum that I actually had in my my little stash bucket that I had cut for some other project, and I just thought it looked really nice behind there. And then the happy birthday is actually from this More Messages stamp set. I love this stamp set. It is one that has a die. Let me show you the die. It's really fun. I'm not sure if they still have this available, but if they do, I highly recommend it. So the die cuts out everything. The stamp set stamps in just one go all these different sentiments, and then it's really easy to cut them all out. So I did a lot of them, put them in a little bucket, and then I just have a bunch of these sentiments waiting whenever I have a card that I need to put them on. So I used the happy birthday sentiment on this one because I needed something small, and that's what we ended up with. So really, really cute. I think that worked out really great. So these were all the cards I made from that particular design. So we'll get rid of these stamps. Then the next cards from the kit were these ones. I love this. I wish I had a die to cut this little guy out. Really, really turned out really nice. I love it. Again, I used that happy birthday sentiment from the Unbounded Love. I should probably just leave that here because I used it for everything. Unbounded Love. And then from the scraps from this, I actually made a whole bunch of cards. They are all the same design. And what I did was I took the other half of this card base here and cut it into thirds and made 3 cards out of every one of those backgrounds. Used some basic beige ribbon. This is the happy birthday from this stamp set, as well as this die right here. So I used the stamp set quite a bit on these. Now for the first 3, I just made them with the plain background, which they're pretty. They're very pretty. But then I thought, hey, I've got some embossing folders. Let's check them out. So this is Damask Designs, and I did 2 with Damask Designs. And the cardstock that I'm using is the white core cardstock that Stampin' Up! Is carrying now. So once I embossed it, I sanded it a little bit to help that embossed background pop out even more. So that was with that one. Then for this one, you can see here I used this Layered Florals 3D embossing folder. And I think that turned out really pretty, and it really complements the leaves. I think a floral embossing folder works really well with leaf background paper. Then I used, this was really fun. This is plaster painting, and this is the first time I've used this embossing folder, and I think it gave such a unique background. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick it up very well, but in person, it's beautiful. It actually looks like plaster. And just beautiful. Love the way these turned out. So those are all the cards that I made with that one. So we'll put that away. And then these are the third set of cards from the kit, the way they're designed, except again, I did happy birthday. Love the way these came out. Really, really pretty design. I'm definitely going to use this sketch again because I have quite a few stamp sets that I can use to do the top and the bottom part, and then just a strip sentiment across the middle layered on vellum. Just looks really classic, really pretty. And then here is what I did with the rest of the card bases. And I did, let's see, I did 5 of them in the same colorway, so I'll just show you one of them. And for that, I used this stamp set from Close to My Heart, another stamp of the month. This one was May of 2021, called Flowers for You, and I used this floral right here. And I just think it turned out so beautiful. I stamped them all in Night of Navy and love the way they came out. They're all exactly the same. And then I layered them with vellum and used some ribbon. Now, then I get to that's 5 of them. Then I get to the 6th one. And, oh, and what I did also is I cut those card bases, the card base fronts in half, and did two triangles. And so I took 3 of the other halves of the card bases and ended up with 6 cards. For this one, I used, gosh, I forgot the color I used. It's a teal. Oh, what's the name of the color? I think it's Peacock. Pretty Peacock. Yeah, Pretty Peacock. And the reason I picked this is I ran out of my other ribbon, and so I had to put a different ribbon on this background. And this is an old Close to My Heart ribbon that I had just a little bit of it left. And once I did that, the Night of Navy didn't look quite as good. So that's why I stamped all of this in that Pretty Peacock color, and it matched really well with the ribbon. So that is all the cards that I made from this wonderful paper pumpkin kit called Watercolor in Bloom. If you've never checked out Paper Pumpkin, I highly recommend it. You can just, buy a month and see what you think. The price is in the US $27, and that includes your shipping. So, and it makes, it's normally cards. Every now and then there's some other type of paper project. And you can usually get a preview, or you can send me a note and ask me what's the next month's Paper Pumpkin. And as soon as I know, I'll let you know. And but it normally makes 9 cards, comes with the envelopes, it comes with the stamp set, it comes with the ink, it comes with adhesive, and the first time you buy one, it comes with the stamping block. So you have everything you need in one simple box. This is the box. So that's everything. So if you're traveling or camping or whatever and want to take a little craft project along, this is a great way to do it. And I reuse these boxes. I turn them inside out, and then I use them for shipping. So nothing goes to waste in these little kits for me. So that's everything I have for you today for these cards. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. Let me know which card is your favorite. And with that, I will say goodbye until the next one. See you later.